Hey guys, Majeffries here, and welcome to episode 155 of You Don't Win Anything with Kids. This is also the season 2016-17 review. I started off here in the training screen for some reason, I don't really know why. We have hired 3 new coaches by the names of, if I can just find them, Abdoulaye Konko, Ayose, and Kim Yong Dae. And all 3 of them, I'll show you Konko first. You see he's got pretty good stats for a coach. He's good with youngsters, technical, tactical. He's got a bit of fitness thrown in as well. Tactical knowledge, pretty good coach. Ayose, same deal. Bit more better in the tactical and technical areas, and also in the attacking and defending areas. And he's got a good level of discipline. Whether that actually helps us or not, who knows. And Kim, he's good with goalkeepers and he's also good with fitness. So that's fantastic. We've got 3 coaches who can all help us out. Because Kim's a goalkeeping coach, though, he doesn't really help much with these things, and also you know, increase specialisation and things like that. But as we enter the new season, that should change anyway. See, we're getting close to 5 stars on some of these, which is really good to see. This one especially, attacking and aerobic fitness as well. But that's not what we're here for. We're here to look at a squad summary, because this is a season review. So let's start with most used formation is the 4-2-2-2 this season. In other words, it's basically a 4-4-2 with the 2 advanced midfielders, wide midfielders. But then you know that because you've been watching up to this stage anyway. So that's fairly self-explanatory. Most successful formation is that one as well. We scored 118 goals in 4,168 minutes. Let me get my calculator and I'll tell you how many goals that is a minute. So it is 4168 divided by 118. That is 1 goal every 35.32 minutes. So roughly every half an hour a goal is scored. Which, you know, that's pretty good. That's not too bad at all. Good stat. Most vulnerable to facing the 4-4-2 as well. Let in 33 goals in 2,227 minutes. I'm not going to tell you the average of that one, because who cares. Time most goals scored. We tended to score mostly between the 31st and 45th minutes. 24% of our goals came from that time period. And again, same as last season, just before half time, our team suddenly pick it up and we end up scoring. I wouldn't mind seeing that sort of 31st to 45th, and also 71st to 90th, I think, if that makes sense. Something like that. Or the 76th to 90th. That kind of bracket. Scoring just before the end of a half, basically. Because it really demoralises your opponent, but it also boosts your team. And I suppose we've got the good side of it here, in that we have a highly motivated squad going into the second half, and they can really push on and attack from the get-go. Most common assist type was passing. 61% of our goals came from that. And again, the left-hand side, Beckhold and Johnston, Marvo, Lopez. Who have I missed out? You know, occasionally Carino and Thompson when they're over there. Bobo. They're all over on that left-hand side from time to time. Beckhold normally, though. 38% of our goals come from that left-hand side. So, again, we're doing okay down the left. The right-hand side, a little bit disappointing, but then Thompson was scoring a lot of goals for us this season. So, it wasn't all doom and gloom for him. We also concede the most in that time period. And again, passing and from the left wing. 58% of the goals we concede come from passes, so we definitely need to watch that one. Attributes. Best attribute is strength. We're ranked first in the league for that. Our worst attribute is work rate, and that is something we're going to have to work on this season, is our work rate, because that is poor. We need to be a lot better than that. Average age is 20, so again, we are still a team of kids. We've got some oldies coming in as well, like Marvo, players who are heading towards the end of their career, and there will be a couple more of those players joining in the new season as well, just to help us settle into the championship. Players with that kind of experience. They might not get that many minutes in the team, but it'll still be pretty cool to have some high-ranking players in the team. Form player. We have 3 players with a rating of 7.46. It says 2 goals as well. I'm not sure what that's all about. Highest average rating is Wilson with 7.47. He's had a fantastic season for us this year. Top goal scorer, 2 players with 27 goals, Wilson being one of them, and I believe Adam Morgan is the other one. He's had a good debut season for us as well. I think this is his first season for us, isn't it? I think so. Most assists, Philip Johnston with 20. And again, say Wilson scored 27 goals. Say all 20 of those 27, were assisted by Johnston. That is a fantastic stat to look at. That's really, really good. Squad depth, get a quick overview of our best 3 players in each position. It still says Quintana is our best keeper. That might change going into the new season though. Tactics, do I want to look at this? Not really. Same deal as what we've already seen. Goals, again, same. Show a bit of a breakdown here though of where all our goals come from. So 21 from the right hand side. 7 assists here, including within our own half. I reckon about 6 of those are Liam King's goal kicks that just bounce over everybody. These ones here, 46, as I said. Left hand side is our most prolific. Second place is actually in this area, pullbacks and things like that. Not so many in corners and stuff. I don't know whether that's good or not. Who knows? Last match, don't really care about that. Facts, here we go. So our youngest player is Dave Jones, 18 years, 74 days. Youngest in the league is Craig Nelson of Preston. Oldest player, we're a long way off there. Average age, we're 4 years less. Shortest player, long way off. Tallest player, Adam Webster, nearly 2 meters tall. He's taller than you think, actually, when you think about it. Jason Mooney for Ipswich being the tallest at 2 meters 6. Average height, we're about there. Lightest player, we're 6 kilos off. Heaviest player, Liam King, he's got to lay off the donuts. 95 kilos. That's about what I weigh, actually, which is a bit worrying. Average weight is there or thereabouts. Top earner, it's now Carino. Before that, it was Manton, but now it's Carino. I've given him a new 3-year deal. I think it's 3 or 4 year deal. 25k per week in the Championship. That's not such a bad thing. And also, it doesn't come with a yearly wage rise or any kind of wage rise. So he'll be on that flat rate for the 3 years. So, it's expensive now, but it's not too bad. And he's also the highest in the league. Lowest earner, we're £350 a week above that. Average wage, we're well above that. Highest caps, we have 2 players with 10 caps. I'm not sure who they are. I think one of them is O'Brien for Northern Ireland, and I'm not 100% who the other one is. The highest in this division is Palacios, 122 caps for Honduras, so you're nowhere near that at the moment. Average caps, 0. The league's one is 1. Domestic player bias, 68%. That number has risen. Used to be a lot lower. 92 for the division. Nationalities represented. 17 nationalities are represented in our team, which is a good diverse squad, actually. We've got plenty of English players, no doubt about that. Players like Morgan as well and Campbell who've joined us along on the way. They're all English. Go try and sign some more English players going into next season as well. I'm not so interested in overseas players if I feel there's an English player who can do the job just as well. Current internationals, we have 4. Tied with Crew, who also have 4. Current under-21 internationals, we're the top with 14. Under-20 internationals, we're top with 3. And under-19 internationals, we're top with 4. So that's that one covered. Stats. Now this is the one that I find most interesting, is when you go through this and break down each stat individually. So, goals versus shot attempts. We scored 149 goals out of 924 attempts. So if I do this on the old calculator again, 924 divided by 149, we scored a goal every 6.2 shots, which is not very good. I've seen a lot better, and I'd very much rather we scored a lot more. Even if it's involving taking less shots, just to improve that average. Don't shoot unless you know you're going to score, kind of thing. That should help us out there. what else do we have? Right, best player for that was Vukic. He scored 8 goals in 18 shots. Worst for that was Mantum. He scored 1 goal in 23 attempts, which is not very good. Shots on target versus attempted. 442 shots on target compared to 924 shots taken. So, should we work that out again? It's roughly half, give or take. So it's 924 divided by 442. So that's a shot on target every 2.1 roughly shots. Which, that's not too bad actually, that one. That's not too bad. Best for that was Robinson. 4 out of his 5 shots were on target, which is a good stat. That's a very good stat. That's 80%. You can't complain with that at all. Worst for that was Jones. 2 out of 21. So that means that roughly 1/10 of his shots were on target. Penalties scored versus taken. We scored 5 out of our 6 penalties taken. Best for that? Well, we had 4 players score 1 out of 1, including McConnor, Quintaka, Bobo, I think, and McGregor, I believe was the other one. The worst for that was Delamond. He only took 1 penalty this season, and he missed it, which is not the way to go, really. Minutes since last goal, 137 for the team. Best player for that was Beckhold, 3 minutes since his last goal. I assume he scored in the 87th minute of a game, or he scored 3 minutes before he got taken off injured, because he has missed almost the entire second half of the season through injury. So that's kind of done his stats a favour, but not so much his goals scored. So I'm sure he's been a bit out of pocket this season for that. So I'm guessing he won't be very happy with that. He's due a new contract as well, actually, thinking about it. If Carino's got one, I suppose it's only fair that Beckhold gets one. Anyway, that's another matter. Worst for that is Howlett Mundell, 3,225 minutes since his last goal. I think it's fair to say that he hasn't scored this season. That's not a bad thing, though, because he's done okay at the back, and that matters more to me for a defender at this stage. Passes succeeded versus attempted. 22,941 passes succeeded out of 30,430 attempted. So we're about 7,000 down, which I think we could do better than that. I think we could. Best for that is John Torrell. 26 of his 28 passes are on target and succeeded. Worst for that, Francois. 267 out of 400. And actually that shows how good our team has been on the whole, because we've used quite a lot of players as well. And if that's the worst one, that is 123. I think 133 that were off target for one player. And we're 7,000 down. So, gives you a fair idea of how many players we have in our squad that are attempting passes. Tackles won versus attempted. We won 1,319 out of 1,640. Best for that was Douglas Pringle, 5 out of 5. Worst for that, 3 players, only won 21 out of 35 tackles attempted, so they missed 14. And even that is not a bad number. Headers won attempted, 3,032 compared to 4,677, which again is a good stat. Best was Chucks, 156 out of 181. That's good. Worst is Marvo, 1 out of 5. And even that, I mean, that's 4. A gap of 4. I don't know whether this goes by percentages or by differences. Because if it goes by percentages, then that's worrying for the rest of the team. If it goes by distances, a distance of 4, that's pretty good. Although it can't be distance because Chucks is bigger than 4. I think it's percentages. So maybe some of these stats might have to be reviewed, like this one, for example. Crosses succeeded versus attempted. 337 succeeded out of 1,807. That needs to radically improve. That's not very good at all. Best for it was McConnor, 7 out of 19. Worst was Robinson. Not a single one of his 22 crosses met one of our players. Red cards, 7 out of 60 games played. Best was Quintaka, didn't get sent off once. I'm sure there's a few players who didn't get sent off once, but he's up there. Worst was Hogan, 2 in 20. So every 10th game he got sent off. That's not very good at all. Yellow cards, 90 out of 60. Could do with improving our discipline there. Again, Quintaka, nice clean record. Hogan again, the worst, 7 out of 20. Fouls made, 856 fouls in 60 games. Again, Quintaka, not a single foul. McConnor was the worst this time, 64 out of 25 games, which is not very good. Mistakes leading to goals. Only 22 mistakes out of our 1,952 total led to goals. The best was Mantum. Only one of his mistakes out of 135 led to goals. The worst was Saville. 1 out of his 3 mistakes. But then that's harsh because his actual total that led to goals is the same as Mantum. It's just because he committed less mistakes, which actually works best in his favour. Clean sheets. 18 out of 60. So when you look at it in that respect, 18 out of 60 isn't a bad number for clean sheets. But then you look at this side of things. O'Brien kept 1 out of 1. The worst was King. He kept 1 out of 9. So O'Brien kept Quintana kept 16 clean sheets. I think he could have done better, because he played every single one. You see, he played 50 games and he only kept 16 clean sheets. That's more disappointing when you put it into that sense. Right, last one. Goals conceded. O'Brien let in no goals out of 1 game. Quintana let in 62 goals out of 50 games. So that's more than a goal a game, which is a bit disappointing as well. We let in 73 goals out of 60 games, which is a team collective. That's not too bad, that one. I've seen worse, that's for sure. Okay. We don't need to go through these, do we? I don't think we do. Last thing to do then, because we are running... In fact, we'll do a fixtures check as well first. Let's do a fixtures check. So you can see these are all our fixtures, right the way from the start. Of course, we won the McJeffries Trophy to start with. A 1-0 win over Charlton with Morgan scoring in the last few minutes, if I remember rightly. Campbell scored twice against Bruges in the semis. We then won all but 2 of our friendlies. We lost to Thun, or Thun, however you want to pronounce it. And we also drew with Dynamo Moscow. But like I said, we won all of our other friendlies. We then entered the league and we beat MK Dons 2-1 on the first game of the season with a goal from Beckhold and a goal from Bobo. We lost in the Capital One Cup first round 2-0 to Ipswich. Disappointed with that result considering we were the bigger team and the better team throughout. But some things like that you got to take with a pinch of salt and just move on, which is what we did, because you'll see the very next result, we beat Leyton Orient 1-0 in the league. And that was our first away game of the season, and it was only 4 days after we lost to Ipswich, so we did do very, very well to bounce back from that one. Skip down a little bit, we had a couple of draws and some wins, very few clean sheets until we get to here against Chesterfield, where for the next, 6 games in a row we kept clean sheets and scored at least 3 goals. And that included a victory against Crawley in the Johnstone's Paint Trophy South second round. We also beat the likes of Swindon, Yeovil, Port Vale, Chesterfield, Bolton 3-0. That was a good game, a hat-trick from Wilson. Before we then lost to Portsmouth, which was a disappointing result. We then followed that up with some victories against Wycombe, before losing to Charlton 1-0, which again was an unfortunate result. We then hammered Barrow 6-1 in the FA Cup first round. Followed that up with victories against Bristol Rovers and Morecambe before drawing with Crewe. Beating Charlton 6-2 in the Johnstone's Paint Trophy South quarter-final. We then drew with Bolton in the FA Cup second round. We beat Preston and Oxford by 3 goals in both matches. We then beat Bolton in the second round replay before beating Ipswich 4-1 and Gillingham 4-2 in the Johnstone's Paint Trophy South semi-final. Drew against Peterborough, lost against Fleetwood. We then beat MK Dons 7-2 as we entered December. We got some fixtures missing. I think we have. We got quite a lot of fixtures missing actually. That's weird. But then anyway, after that, we beat MK Dons 7-2 with a hat-trick from Francois, 2 goals from Johnston, a goal from Morgan and a goal from Drewson. We then followed that up with victories against Doncaster, Leyton Orient and Oldham. We drew with Lincoln 1-1 in the FA Cup third round. We then beat Mansfield, drew with Crawley and beat Lincoln 3-1 in the replay. Why is it not showing more matches? That's weird. We did then do some more things and we won a few more matches and we ended up winning the league. having drawn with Crewe. Did we draw with Crewe? Or did we beat Crewe? I wish I could check, but unfortunately I can't. Does this go all the way down to March, this one? Yeah, this one goes all the way to April, so why does this one not? Or has it done it now? Oh, it's done it now. That's weird. Where did we get up to? Lincoln. There it is. So after Lincoln, we then beat West Ham 4-2 in the FA Cup 4th round. That was also a good game. Hat-trick from Morgan and a goal from Johnston. Followed that up with league victories against Port Vale, Swindon and Yeovil before beating Northampton 2-1 in the Johnstone's Paint Trophy South final first leg. We then lost 5-1 to Newcastle in the FA Cup, and that did dent us a little bit because we then lost to Northampton in the second leg of the final. However, we only lost by 1 goal and we'd already won the first leg by a goal, so we went through on away goals, having scored 4 away goals in the second leg. We did then lose to Bolton in the league, but we bounced back strongly with victories against Chesterfield and Wickham. We then drew 1-1 with Charlton, where Hogan got sent off rather stupidly. We then beat Portsmouth, Bristol Rovers, Morecambe, Carlisle, before winning the Johnstone's Paint Trophy after our failure last season, with a 3-1 victory against Shrewsbury. And that was at Wembley, despite the fact the seats were red. Not red, blue. Seats are red at Wembley. The seats were blue in the actual match, which is a bit weird. We then lost to Mansfield, another disappointing result, and drew against Fleetwood, before beating Preston, drawing with Crewe, and this was the match that won us the league, because Crewe needed to win to have any chance of catching us, and we managed to hold them to a 0-0 draw. Or they held us to a 0-0 draw, but that wasn't enough for them. We celebrated by beating Ipswich 4-2, Oxford 2-1 before a dull draw against Peterborough on the final day, because most of our team were probably already on the plane to their holidays. So that was a fixtures breakdown. Now let's have a look at what really matters. Where is it? Selection info. The top scorers list. Well, joint top, as you've already seen, with 27 goals are Peter Wilson and Adam Morgan. However, for me, Wilson takes it because Morgan started all 46 of our league games, I believe, and scored 27, whereas Wilson only started 34 games and came off the bench once. So in 35 appearances, he scored 27 goals. Kind of wish it would tell us how many were in the league. I think I can do that here. Of those, there you go, he made 28 appearances and scored 23 goals in the league, whereas Morgan scored 20 in 39, so Wilson definitely takes it for me. Francois was then close behind with 16, although only 5 of them were in the league. But he scored 13 league goals in 39 appearances for us. So he's doing good. A goal every 3 games, which is a good return. We then have to go quite a way back to find Beckhold, who's 7 behind, but he has struggled with injuries this season, so that's understandable. He's tied with Carino and Johnston, 1 ahead of Vukic and Campbell, who themselves are 1 ahead of Thompson, who's had his standout season this year. 2 behind him is Bobo, who will be heading back to Montpellier unless I can agree another loan deal with them, because I can't afford the transfer fee. 1 behind Bobo is Marshall and McConnor. 1 behind them are Drewson and Aniki. Chucks has done well since he only joined us in January, I believe. Behind them is Grant and Pugliese. I was impressed with Grant this season, and I am really, really looking forward to seeing him next season. He could be cementing that right midfield place as his. He's got really good pace, he's got good crossing abilities. He's a really, really good talent at the moment, and he is only 19 years old, so he is still one of the youngest in the team. We then find behind them, who have we got? I think it's 6 or 7 players there. Wilson, Quintaco, who scored the penalty, Jones, Villa, Lopez, Dodd and Mantum all on 1. And then the rest of the team, including Delamond, McGregor, Douglas Pringle, Cartwright, Hogan, Webster, Forster Kasky. Some very disappointing players on here on 0 goals. Especially, what I'm most surprised about is Delamond. 0 goals in 21 appearances. Maybe he needed to get on the pitch more, but you do expect more. You really do expect more. But that's that then, guys, I believe. I think I've covered everything. seen the training menus and all that stuff. Seen all this stuff. So yeah, I think we're pretty much done. Tactics. This will be the formation we'll be using again next season, along with this one, and maybe that one. This is a new one, the old 4-4-2 diamond. Could be using that a bit more in games where we have to hold on a little bit. But this is going to be my... not that one, sorry. This one is going to be my favourite formation going into the new season. So what, we're 25 minutes in now, guys, so I am going to end this episode and end this season. So, thank you very, very much for watching, those of you who've stuck by me this season. Next season there will be a lot of jigging around and revamping and changing the format slightly. Try and make this series entertaining again, because it's sort of lost its way a little bit. It becomes a bit of the old same old kind of thing. So like I said, thank you very much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to my channel already, then do click the subscribe button, and be sure to like this video as well. I won't go into the old romantic speech again, but I really do enjoy making these videos, and I hope you guys enjoy watching them. If you haven't... no, I've done that one, haven't I? If you have subscribed to my channel, thank you guys for watching. It does mean a lot to me. And yeah, until next season, guys, I will see you soon.